No, if you were to ask, I think, the average person, where is Orson Welles' hometown, I have a feeling that you would get a guess that would go all over the globe, probably starting with Budapest or something.
Yeah.
And the fact that it's Kenosha, Wisconsin, is one of the most startling. That's the truth, isn't it?
That's right. I was born in Kenosha.
Do you ever go back to Kenosha?
I left when I was 3 weeks old. So my memories are limited.
Mm-hmm.
I've been back to Wisconsin a lot, and I've lived in Wisconsin, but I never made it to Kenosha.
3 weeks old?
Yeah, and I've got people who remember going to school with me there, you know. I've never been.
What, at 3 weeks, that's amazing.
Yeah, maybe 5, I don't know.
Did anyone try to talk you out of leaving at that age? Can you remember early memories way back before you could speak?
Yes, but I'm not sure it's true.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have memories that you think are real, and I'm not sure whether I saw it on, on television?
Yeah.
Of course, I'm one of the younger fellows. I remember television very well. It's the kind of thing that I have pictures of. I don't remember the dialogue. It's sort of silent movies more than of a grandmother that was dead when I was 4, things like that. But nothing very fascinating. I'd better go and make up my hands.
No, please. Made me feel a lot better. Are there any legends about you that you would like to scotch right now, like the fact that you, at the age of 4 months or something, wrote a thesis on Nietzsche's philosophy, or there are all these incredible things like that.
Yeah, Pack of Lies.
Pack of Lies?
Pack of Lies.
No kidding.
Yeah, I was a rather backward student.
And I read also about you that you were supposed to go to Harvard. Mr. Lemon did go to Harvard.
That's true. I had a scholarship to go to Harvard. Hollywood is what I wanted to say. What I wanted to go to was Hollywood. What I had the scholarship for was Harvard. And I did everything I could think of not to go, including show business. The only reason I'm in show business was to keep out of school.
You're getting ready to go to Harvard.
Yeah.
Through all this, are you?
And I just didn't want to go, not because I have anything against Harvard, but I never know the answers to anything, as you found out.
We were talking upstairs. I would like to ask you one thing, though, that may be a kind of question that's a little annoying, but if someone were to give you, say, $10 million tax-free now to do whatever you... I'm considering it. What would you do with it?
Well, since we're on the full network, give it away. But I'll tell you afterwards,
I guess what I'm angling for would be, would you make a movie? Would you produce plays?
I think, really, anybody is suddenly given an awful lot of money until it happens. You think you're going to go out in the street and hand it out to everybody. I'm sure I don't have enough class to do that. But until they show me that green stuff, the instinct would be, some kind of giving it away with all the misery there is. But of course, the minute you've got it, you turn into somebody else.
A monster.
Yeah, a monster.
Your dad was an inventor.
Yes.
What did he invent? Anything we would know of?
He invented a great many things, none of which worked. Some of them were very successful. He invented something called the Picnic, which was a square box into which everything fitted for your outing under the trees, which included a salt cellar which collapsed. That meant there couldn't be any salt in it. Things like that.
Yeah.
And the war came along, the First World War, and every American soldier had to have it in a knapsack. So, of course, my father was fabulously rich on the Picnic. This useless box of toys went over there with all our boys. And then he invented one of the early airplanes. He was an automobile manufacturer. He'd raced some of the early automobiles. And in fact, a picture I made, Ambisons, is partly based on him, not by me, but by Tarkington, who wrote the book, who was a friend of my father's. And my father was a kind of mad playboy. He was well along when I was born. He was in his late 60s when I was born, so we went back to older and happier times. And when the Wright brothers came up with this thing, he said that was a very good idea, but there was a basic fallacy, which was having the engine in the plane. Any fool could see that the airplane should be light enough and the engine should be on the ground, you see. So he built an airplane which was in effect a sort of glider. And a friend of his, it wasn't his own car, had a Stanley steamer, which was the automobile worked by steam, you know, and with big wheels that could go over rough ground. And this plane was hauled along by the Stanley steamer with one of my father's servants as the pilot. He said it wasn't time yet for him to go up. He was going to try it out on the help. So there are two pictures I have. One is everybody lined up before in front of the Stanley steamer and the glider, looking very happy. And the second one is the wreck of the airplane, with everybody lined up looking just as happy.
That airplane is now known as the Super Chief on the Long Island Railroad.
But he liked to call himself an inventor because what he came from an epoch in which you should pretend to be a great tycoon. You mustn't say you're a playboy. He was just a playboy. He inherited some money and he spent it. That was what he did. So he put down, I'm an inventor, so it would be respectable. And these fantasies came up through the years. He was also a very lucky gambler. He really broke the bank at Monte Carlo. And he lost money all the time in business and made it up gambling, which is an interesting switch.
Yes, it is.
And in fact, it was in Kenosha where he was manufacturing some mysterious object that I happened to come into the world.
That's amazing. Can you hold on for just a moment? Could we at some point in this evening, although I know it's the one subject you always have thrown at you, talk a little bit about Citizen Kane?
Well, sure. I guess.
Okay. If you've got dandruff, could you direct me in how to make this transition gracefully? If you've got dandruff that you can't seem to get rid of, watch this from Tegrin Medicated Shampoo. Ba-dum-bum.